Hello, I'm Ralph Hawley. Come fly with me as I tell you my story about my interest in airplanes and flying. I developed an interest in airplanes and flying at a very young age while living on a farm near Hancock, Wisconsin. The sight of barnstorming pilots in the skies over our farm was not unusual back in the 1930s. We waved at the pilots as they dipped their wings as if to acknowledge us. My cousin, Glenn, and I built many model airplanes using balsa wood and glue. Pictured here is a Piper Cub model airplane similar to what we may have built back in the day. Our dreams of flying only intensified as we read about the war in Europe and the dog fights between British and German aircraft over England. I graduated from West High School in Madison, Wisconsin in 1943. While many of my buddies enlisted in the Army Air Corps right out of high school, I failed the entrance physical examination because of my eyesight. 20/25 was not good enough. Here I am pictured with my younger brother and sister, Charles and Marjorie, and on the day of my high school graduation. I joined the U.S. Navy in June 1943 and received my orders for boot camp at the Naval Station in New Orleans, Louisiana on July 3. This is my boot camp picture, or as I like to refer to it, just plain scared. While in New Orleans, I got a 3-day pass to visit my high school buddy, Ernie Burmeister, who was stationed in Gulfport, Mississippi for Army Air Corps training. I saw every kind of plane flying there. Sat in the cockpit of a Bell P-39. Them pursuit planes are so jammed with junk that I couldn't figure out how they fly. All motor, but they may not look like it in the air. Just received my orders this morning, whoopee, to the USS Memphis. I pick up the ship in Miami, Florida and will be sailing in the southern latitudes. The mighty Memphis will be my ship for the duration of the war. Most of our time was spent in the South Atlantic and at some terrific Liberty ports in Brazil, Trinidad, and points in between. Today, I spent my Liberty in the clouds again. What a time! I paid the pilot $7 for a 2-hour ride and it sure was worth it. He let me fly the plane for over an hour, this once we were up to 1,000 feet. It was a new type of light plane with wheel controls, side-by-side seating, and a dashboard that was much like a car. American-made too. Was it ever a honey? Flew over the USS Memphis a couple of times. I never realized I was on such a slick-looking ship. While I always had dreams of owning a plane and flying, marriage and family intervened, so that dream and others had to be put on hold, at least for a while. Here is a picture of my bride, Joanne. We married right after I got out of the Navy, in February 1946. By 1954, we moved to a new house in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. As luck would have it, our next-door neighbor, Bill Schmitt, was a private pilot and owned a Beechcraft Bonanza. As you may have already guessed, I jumped at the opportunity to fly again. Bill took me up flying in his small plane many times. The fact that he had a few flying mishaps never discouraged me one bit. I also stoked our children's interest in flying by building airplane swings. The swings had many features: single seat, dual seats, multiple propellers, and they came in all colors, shapes and sizes. Here is a photo of my oldest son Kenny and his cousin Bobby Arnold on one of my early models. Here is another picture of the airplane swing I built for the kids in Sheboygan. This looks like my youngest son John, who will later learn to fly and earn his wings of gold, and his cousin, Cindy. During visits to California in the 1960s, I also had the opportunity to fly with my brother-in-law, Lew Marchman. He was quite the daredevil. He demonstrated all sorts of acrobatic maneuvers, including loop-de-loops and barrel rolls. What fun! My interest in flying eventually landed me a job at the Federal Aviation Administration, where I worked as an electronics technician at remote mountain sites near Las Vegas, Nevada. My youngest son, John, also took an interest in aviation at an early age and eventually learned to fly at a Navy flying club in Monterey, California. John obtained his private pilot's license in 1979, and an instrument rating in 1981. He took me up flying many times, and even let me fly the plane. He also attended Navy flight officer training at the Naval Air Station in Pensacola, Florida. Here is a press photo from a local newspaper showing John and Alexis preparing for a cross-country flight out of Pensacola. John earned his Wings of Gold in October 1981. You guessed right, I pinned his wings on his uniform that day. So, what have I learned from all of this? Well, I'd rather be flying. I hope that you have enjoyed this video montage. It has been a real pleasure sharing these many memories with you. That's all for now.